Know all that I was filling out. It was the only button. Okay. Hello. I hope to God volume, mic, everything is working. This is my first live stream, and I'm going to it was supposed to start in 4 minutes, and as a UX designer I can say that YouTube has a very serious user experience problem. So I was setting up I was filling out the form and the dialogue, the modal, and the only action button when I fill it out, I can't even get on, yeah, was go live. And I'm like, okay, well, I just scheduled it for 4 minutes, so I assume, I don't know. So I'll just say that the action button made me go live anyway, despite having scheduled this for 4 minutes from now. Therefore, I did not get a chance to set things up how I wanted to, but it doesn't matter because I really don't expect anyone to be here. But what is super funny is that I tried my first one and there was someone in here like waiting, and I think I kind of freaked out a little bit because I'm really introverted and I've never done this before. I feel a bit strange, but I've also had 10 million Zoom meetings at work, so I don't really see it any different. Me. So really, I am doing this to well, a somewhat entertain myself. I work from home, and as especially I think as a designer and a UX designer, the big number one thing is collaboration. And well, damn, it's really hard to collaborate, by yourself and have brainstorming sessions live in a whiteboarding room by yourself. And so I've been trying to recreate that experience. I'm on a medical leave right now at work, actually, or I should just say a little break. Too much information. That doesn't really matter. But anyway, I still, love to do UX work. I have lots of thoughts about the industry. I've been in it for a long time. And so it's been even harder to feel like I have that, you know, team oriented, brainstorming oriented way of thinking and ways of figuring things out. So today I have been doing a design system for a company in London, and or I'm pretty sure they're based out of London. If not, it's a little city right around there. And the company is a supply chain software company, and they are just getting kicked off the ground actually using components. And components is such a, oh my goodness, again, have lots of thoughts about the industry. But I am a design systems expert. I've been specifically working in design systems for, let's see, it's 2025, 2018, so yeah, 7 years now. And in the first year of that, I was at a smaller software company that ended up getting acquired. And at that company, it was called Lamasoft. It was another supply chain company. We were kind of doing the same thing, trying to figure out how to get us into actually like a reusable component library. And I was really lucky to at the time have enough time to do a really adequate and wonderful amount of research that really helped me continue on in these last 7 years. And why I say that is because uh, I really like systems and I like learning details. And I've got this whole, thing about language and design systems in themselves. I think the biggest issue is that people don't understand how easy they actually are. And they make a lot of, everything is about um, design systems in like a specific organization. And that's fine. A lot of people are trying to solve those problems. We have a, bottom line to meet. But ultimately, when you study a design system, you realize that they're all kind of the same. And I was super curious about that. I picked up on that right away when I first started looking at them. And I noticed the language was one of the biggest issues. And why is, so and so calling this thing, and they say it's something different. And then when you talk to somebody else who might be even in a different but related industry, they might start calling it a whole another different slew of words. And when I did my master's degree in UX, one of my favorite areas of study was information architecture. And it reminded me of that. I'm like, this is semantics. Like people are talking about the same thing, and we have how many different terms for it. And that led me down a very, very, very long winding road of studying the original GUI, the original graphic user interface that, gosh, it's the details are hazy, but that probably was written in the late 70s, early 80s. I hope I'm still correct on that. And when we think about design systems, the big four are the ones that made design systems what we think of today. And the big four, well, they base it off the original GUI. So in my mind, I actually think design systems are quite easy to think through when you just relate everything back to the right node. So anywho, I am today needing so badly to like map out all of this work that I've done because I was just helping with this one thing, and I decided I wanted to just take this on as a project in itself. And I've done a ton of detailed work. I'm creating a design system and all of the tokens and the UI kit and everything for a supply chain company. And so finally just made some executive decisions today. And the next time that I chat with the stakeholder that I'm talking to, I not only want to have, more of a draft of like what I'm creating, but like how did I get there and how does all this stuff work? So yeah, I wanted to go to my whiteboard, but it's spring and I'm in my basement office, which is nice, but it's sterile. So I am going to hopefully just get set up properly and set up my screen so I can actually see. Like I said, it started before I wanted to, and just start brainstorming. And I am going to do it out loud. And I really don't expect anybody ever to be here at all. Um, and in that slight chance, which there's no one here, so no one will know. But um, you know, I'm winging it. It's like a Zoom session. So let's see if this portal reads. Damn it. I did not bring down the other thing, but this can work for me. That is the one issue. So I recently just moved my desk. It's fine. Okay. So we're gonna do this. Well, actually, I'll just be able to see it easily. Well, I could hook this up to, but that doesn't reach. Okay, that's fine. All right. So what do I need to do? And I know the lighting's super shitty. Can't do anything about it. So this is my whiteboard while I'm working on it. It's called a whackboard. That's what I call it because I want half of it to be a chalkboard. But anyways, there, I think I left all of, oh, there they are, markers. And I wonder if we need like some background music. Uh, Alexa, turn on light background music for meetings. Hopefully that's not too loud. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and get started. Alrighty. So what do I need to do today? Um, alright, so goals. All right, so my goals for this, for my design session number one, is really to map out the design process or the token system I created. And then the other one I really wanted to do was map out the workflow of basically how token libraries work. And also, it's okay. So, how does it work? And then I want to talk about schemas, and then I'll map out the actual B2Wise tokens workflow. Hi, Kitty. The other goal is going to be to properly. No, I need another turn. Oh, I've lost my pink. I might have to run upstairs. Oh, there's pink. Okay. Hi, Kitty. Sorry. I got to do work. All right. So the other one is I'm terrible because I get all distracted. So I have some horrible ADHD. Um, Ignore, spring, sun, kitties. Oh my goodness, my cats are driving me nuts. And one thing I noticed is if I'm talking, like I'm in a meeting, they leave me alone. So sometimes if they're really annoying, I just start talking like I'm talking to somebody and it really helps. All right, so I am gonna stick this, I guess, here. Will that make it easier for whoever doesn't come in to see? You see my goals? I'm trying to bring this forward. All right. All right, Kitty, I'm doing work. All right, I think it's as high as it can go, so we will troubleshoot that later. All right, so ultimately, what do I got going on? Just move this down here for now. So I've got B2Wise design system, and Da, 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 da. It's not gonna be dark. All right, so I wanted to do the design process. What did I do? What the fuck did I even do? Oh, I shouldn't swear because of children or something. All right, so let's get that down here. Difficult. Okay, so for the B2Wise design system, that doesn't matter. Ultimately, Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. Okay, yeah, that was too difficult. So the B2Wise design system, basically, I gave them a starter set of tokens. I don't like this black. I feel like it's hard to erase. So, I do. All right. So they got a starter set of tokens, starter set of just some basic UI tokens. That was my package. And that is to function as the middle schema. So that would be the semantic schema. And what they did is, so I'm going to do bird and blue. So what they did is they, oh, I also gave them, I gave them semantics. I think I gave, I think I gave some primitives. I'll just say that there's some primitives. I can't remember because they, yeah, they did some shit. Oh, no swearing, right? So some primitives. Um, and I think I even gave them a color palette. So I think I gave them some raw. Well, I don't need to put that in quotes. Um, fuck. All right. So, okay, so they got some primitives, and then I gave them a base set of raw. And at the very least, tokens. I think they took my naming. So they at least got the naming architecture. So they did raw naming bleh, architecture there. Okay, so from there, they consumed that. So that was, I don't know, let's call it 6 months ago. Um, so from there, they consumed that and did their own thing, they kept the semantics, they kept all of the tokens, I think. They added more token schemas to solve for their unique UX problem and did their best to keep them together. But why that matters is that resulted in a problem. So they added more. And then from there, they chose all of their tooling. And I think that's all that matters for here. So then I come back in and let's see, we confirm that they are using Blazor UI components, and Blazor components have available themes. God, I hate that word. I hate the word theming. Oh, okay. Blazor UI and UX in components. I don't hate fucking stupid word. All right, so the Blazor UI components, and they picked the Bootstrap 5 theme. And da 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 da. What else? What else? What else did I review? Okay, so this is where things get hairy. Okay. So they did the Bootstrap 5 theme, and then from there, I did typography first. I did type tokens, and maybe I'll move over and break that down. So I did type tokens, and all of this is a whip because I usually finalize everything at the end once I figure out my 80%. Good, I'm still talking to no one. Okay, am I supposed to look at this camera? All right, so I did type tokens first. I'll break that down. Yeah, so basically, I've done type. I did most of my color work. And now, yesterday, I was doing the uh, component tokens and the UI kit for them. And so I basically just need to break that down, what I did. And that is really where it comes in a lot. Okay. So from here, let's dock now the type tokens. Do I have enough space? I do. And no one's here. No one's watching. That's great. Okay. 23 minutes. I forgot I'm supposed to like time this and whatever. But I don't care. All right. So let's talk through type. Maybe I'll use these. All right. So for the type tokens, and that worked. Typography. And my name slash. I already don't like it. I hate writing lines. I never know. I never know where I'm gonna go. Okay, so that's purple. So what did I do? They had their schema. Da, 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 da. So their schema has right now, so current has a schema group called UI control, heading, and display. And I adjusted that slightly, but still have three groups. So one of my favorite design systems is uh, well, schematics. Design systems are all about the schematics, and design systems are all about the tokens library. And tokens libraries are really just dictionary structures, usually in JSON, but sometimes YAML. And I think there's like two, I don't know, but yeah, usually JSON, and they're nested. And so a tokens library actually has no color or anything. A tokens library is, I mean, damn, a nicer version of, of that, right? Of code. Freaking JSON. I think actually I'm gonna go on a tangent, I know it. But do I have stuff down here? I should. Hang on, let the tangent begin. Oh, Kitty knocked it all over. Fantastic. So real quick, I'm going to talk so that there's something happening while I'm not there. Oh my gosh, my shit's gone. Well, my things are not here. So we really needed that. Oh, here we go. Okay, so pile of stuff. Where do I have to jump under? All right, so quick tangent, but this is going to come back in. That's a schema library. That's what tokens look like. I'll get to it. So there's a terrible glare that I see all of a sudden, probably because of, nope, because of things I can't control at the moment. I think it could be. Oh, it's the window. Okay, yeah, I can't do anything about it. But also, no one's here, so it doesn't fucking matter. All right. So for type, let's get this. All right, so for typography, I really like Adobe Spectrum, and so that's what I use for schematics for them, because this is a supply chain company and there's so like people, material design is really, really common, and it's uh a really good it's a really good way for people to ingest design systems for the first time. Um but it's super basic and it does not give you very much control over your visual styling, especially when it comes to adding lots of different types of components in to your library. Now this is a supply chain. So there's so many visualizations, and like there's data visualization involved. And when that's involved, it means that you have lots of different potential for meaning. This is where you get things like, contextual, you hear things like that, like what's the contextual naming? What's this class name for this component? Oh no, I can't edit that because this doesn't exist and blah, blah, blah. It all has to do with those schemas. So anyway, why I say that is because we need pretty advanced control over our typography for this software company, because they have a lot of different ways to look at data. And when I'm designing for something, even though they're not the biggest supply chain company in the world, I'm designing for them like they are. I'm always designing scalable. And right now, for example, they're going to be using Blazor, which is You know, I can write deets with blue. Okay, so Blazor is C sharp, whereas like gosh, I don't want to make any big justifications here, but or not justifications, but I can't think of the right word right now, but declarations. However, for the most part, when you think about UI, a lot of people are actually, or a lot of companies or organizations, UI, whatever you want to call it, are using React. And so, why I say that, shit, do, how to do it, I don't know. I'll remember, but I wanted to at least write down that they're using C sharp. Most design systems use React. And going back into here, type, oh, right now, okay, right. I was saying that they're using static tokens. This organization has to use static tokens right now instead of dynamic. And when you're talking about a design system, generally the true design system is dynamic. And a lot of companies, I can't rate this eye, they will get informed about what this means from their devs. But dynamic means something different else when it comes to design systems. Maybe I'll do a rambling video on that one day. This is all zoomed in. Let's hope no one's here. Okay, cool. I wanted to go for an hour. We'll see what happens. Maybe it's a half hour. I don't know. So anyway, considering all of this, they are still static, which I actually should write right now. So the true design system, so they are still static, but I want to set them up like they aren't. So these are still static, but I'm getting them ready for dynamic. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, great. That's a detail I wanted, right? So for type, I need a little bit of a breather. What strong marker? So for typography, yeah, like I said, they have lots of viz. So I actually wanted to, I like to, look at big design systems for their schemas. I generally already know how I want something to work, but especially when I'm doing something for an organization, I'm just right here taking a break. I like to try and implement something that one of two things. So one that exists and I can rely on, right? It's like, cool. I already know how I want to set up these things. If I ever need to, reference naming architecture and get patterns or something that I need help with or don't have an invisible way to brainstorm it, that's the way. But also, especially when you need an organization to adopt a design system, it's money, it's resources, it takes time. And they can be so big and scary, which is why I went on my 10-minute rant in the beginning, because time is money and you need shit to work. That's why often they're just hacked together and thrown in because money is really not how intricate is this design system and scalable for 10 years from now. It's like, how much money can we make right now? But at the same time, if you cannot scale your product, you're I almost swore again, SOL in the industry, in your industry, in a handful of years, especially as, you know, access to technology and information is increasing. I could go on that too. Okay. So anyway, um It's a really good way to sell your shit. So I should write that down. And if anyone in the future ever needs to know that. All right. So I referenced Adobe Spectrum schemas. And I honestly, it was easiest because I have such an intricate thing I'm putting together here. It was easiest to take them one for one. And I don't think I made any changes based on Bootstrap. So, what did this have? I took all of the, I think, primitive structures. I took the whole thing. I took their primitive structures. I took their semantic structures. Yep. And what are those? Okay, great. So their primitive structures have available a sans serifont, and actually a mono for code, which I really liked, especially for something like this. You might really, really want that. So from there, I'm talking about the primitives. So from there, do everything. So that was, I gave them all a class. So type 1, 2, and 3. And then from there, I set up the next set of schemas, which were the semantic schemas. I hope I didn't skip anything. So in the semantic schemas, from there, I broke it out into, here's the semantic schema. I broke that out into, because I did the atomic as well, the contextual. I did the contextual as well. Or I think this would be your atoms if you want to go. No, they'd be your molecules if you want to go that way, if you want. Or much better, your fucking styles, man, and your UI kit. I need to stop swearing. I don't really care. I don't know. I had to Google what I was doing today, how to do this, and it was like something about the kid settings and the age restriction. It said you don't need to put 18 over unless you're, swearing like a sailor. And I'm like, All right. So our semantic schemas have it's important. I need to write that down. So there was a few different classes: heading, code, detail, body, but then there was another one for specific use cases. Fuck. I might have to look at the computer. I was trying not to do that. I think the final one, though, that is going to actually be, I think I've just described the contextual one. So for now, contextual, that's where the heading, the, what did I just say? The heading, body, detail, and the code groups go. And up here, they got, there were, what's the other one? All right, pause. What did I do? Tokens, typography, primitives. I think I moved this file though. I did. Tokens. All right, so we've got our base. Ooh, and I did something cool there too. I should document. Actually, maybe I'll just use the whole thing. So we've got, I'll write those down in a minute. Trims, type, desktop and mobile. Da 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 da. Yeah, there we go. Heading, body, component, and detail. That's what it was. Okay. So in the type of thing I wanted to write down, so we have all of our normal typography primitives, but I actually have these groups as heading, body, component, and detail. And those typeface, I have those connected to, that's fine, desktop and mobile, but I'm looking for something else. Ah, yeah, so I have them connected to desktop and mobile sizing. And I also have all of the primitive adjustments in terms of letter height and spacing, line spacing for the for Latin and for Handscript translation. So right to left. Boom, baby. All right, so I've got all of that in there. And then that moves into the, hang on, what did I do? Oh, those are my type primitives. Okay. Heading, heading, that's fine. So those are my type primitives. I messed that up. And these are gonna be my semantics. But you have to say fucking styles. That's why that confuses me. Okay. Blah. So in Figma, I don't need this anymore. Just need the note. But in Figma, once you get your typography tokens set up, oh my God, I'm probably so close to that. I can't tell. I need to go back to the video. Once you get your typography tokens set up, you actually can't apply them as a token. You have to then take all of the typography tokens and create styles, whereas that isn't what is happening in code. In code, they're not styles, they're just another set of tokens. So that's meh. So anyway, we just, set up our typography primitives, but often when design system primitives are referred to, they're actually talking about didn't I write it down somewhere? The raw. I swear I did. Yeah, they're actually talking about like more of those like the base sets, and it can get really confusing. So anyway, I probably just fucking wasted a bunch of time talking, but I didn't because I was processing. So from there, we have our semantics, and in Figma, they feel like contextual styles. So we have our semantics now, which is going to be heading, body, detail, and code. So heading, body, detail, and code. And then all of those have a sizing and weight and shit applied through there. So size, weight, etc. And then we're getting ready once I actually figure out all my token or all of this naming, because I just started on the component kit. But what I need to do is actually it's kind of weird to finish at different times. So I'm going to finish all the naming, which I needed to start the component kit to do, finish the naming, start to implement into the token kit in this way. And then I will get textual naming in terms of, anyway, it's fucking take a while. Once they get once they get type tokens in, we'll be good, and I won't have to sit here anymore. But then we can actually get the contextual naming. And when you're talking about contextual naming, you're talking about how they apply actually like to the components and the different things going on in the UI. And that's when I'm going to know more about like the button size or type sizing and shit. So we're good to go here. I'm able to describe that in human form. And then after that, we'll have our context. Now they're just turning into S's. So from there, we'll get our context schemas, right? Which is going to be the component schemas. And in Figma, it's just another set of styles. Okay, yay. So that's type. And now I need to work through what we did for color. Woo! And I am getting hungry. All right, so for color, and I'm guessing no one's here. Cool. I don't know why it embarrasses me. See, this is like forced. I'm UXing myself. I'm trying to force myself into like form of panic mode so I perform better. All right, a little break, and then we're gonna start on typography. Woof, you need that space. It's fine. Oh wait, no, we're starting on color. Boop. All right, color is pretty hairy. And then from there, we'll do the UI kit. What we did there. Might need this one. The UI kit. Hmm. Oh, fuck. So for the UI kit, this one, the Blazer B2 UI. Okay. All right. 5:31. I need 2 minutes and I will be back. Really, I guess I need special software so I can like put timers and stuff on here. Oh my goodness. All right. What do I do? Why can't I see all my controls? There we go. Alrighty. Is that available? I don't think so. Manage. Don't have access to those features. Pop out dashboard. What's that? Alrighty. Nope. So, Alexa, play a 3-minute song. Alexa, I need a song that's timed for a break that is 3 minutes. Alexa, turn the volume up. Alexa, turn the volume up. All right, Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. All right. So, oof, breaks make me want to stop working. All right. Color. La 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 la. Whew. Tomorrow we're doing the other thing because I'm not doing that today. Okay. Color. B2Wise, right? I said is Viz heavy. They need a lot of control over their color. So they actually started out, oops, yeah, their base set, I think it has 8 or 9. Let's take a look. I wish I could share my screen super fast. I don't think I can. Can oh cool. I didn't know that. I can share my screen when I want to. But I don't want to do that because I don't want to accidentally like, I don't know, show something I shouldn't of theirs. So actually this I think would be okay if I wanted to. So they have 1, 2, 3. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead for my own Google Chrome would like to, yes. Sure. Well, we'll do that later. Oh, I can't. Yeah, entire screen. Okay, I can't right now, but next time. All right, so they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, there's two. That's weird. Movements. Why do they have two? Fuck. All right, let's go look at their documentation. Come on. So sad it open. There we go. There we go. Immutable palette. This is weird. Okay, whatever. They have something that repeats, and you, I mean, just literally, you can't do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so here's the kicker. Because they do visualizations, when they started to adopt the UI kit or trying to do their component library, it's interesting because they had 12 cues already in place in the visualizations that have um semantic meaning. Like this is stuff referred to as like forecast, DDMRP blue zone, movements in. So they're really specific. Now, why does that matter? Because especially in UX, right? We can't just go ahead and change those colors. You can't even adjust them a little bit. Not in the slightest. They have to stay the same unless you have some sort of migration method or teaching that something that informs them. Otherwise, you have to keep them the same. You could adjust maybe a couple of points, like in the tone, I suppose, but you can't change that. And really, why that matters is because, like, if those are tied to something that has all of this meaning and movements out, blah blah blah, and there's freaking 12. What do you have left? 12 hues? Green, another green, a teal, which is greenish, a blue, a purpley blue. What's left over for your UI? Nothing. So that's kind of where this use case is interesting because what they did is they kept these schemas available and those original colors. And then, right, so that's just appearing inside the visualizations. And then at the same time, right? So that means in code, like where devs are working and well, they don't have any designers, but if they were working in there, they're now working with this, and then you want to make a set of colors you can use in your UI. You can't use that. They already are. That's why it's a problem. So then they added one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine colors for their UI that are going to, replicate some of these hues, right? Gray, yellow, green, blah, 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 but they're different. Um, I suppose tones and tints of them, right? Um, and they're named differently, right? So they can be called differently. But this creates a lot of hairiness. So there are what did I say? Nine, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. So this has nine hues and obviously, sets of tokens and naming. And so when I, excuse me, took a look uh, at this, I'm like, well, this isn't even enough for the UI because once you get into having things like, you know, um, badges or tagging systems and things that you need to colorize, I mean, again, red, green, gold, and blue are pretty much called for. Gray is called for. So it just creates an issue. So I took that look at this. I'm like, well, you need more hues here so that you can have, visual, conventions and just your regular components. So if you add three hues, now you have two sets, right? It gets crazy. But I know a design system, actually, I know two that have something like this already set up and their design system, or I mean, excuse me, their data visualization heavy design systems. And so one of them is Lightning and the other one is Fiori. So Lightning is Salesforce and Fiori is SAP. And I've actually always really, really wanted to design a set of Viz tokens. I was doing them at Coupa, but I didn't get to implement. So I didn't actually really get to, see and play. But why that is important is because not only do they have this going on and all of that meaning, but you're going to want theming in different ways. You need to, provide access for colorblind people, but colorblind people see colors so differently. You can't have two sets. Like they have to have a whole different like set of combinations of colors. It gets really, really complex. So anyway, um, Lightning is super cute, and SAP is super functional. They're great at like theming and stuff, but once it gets into all of like that semantic meaning and stuff, it's just because of just the way the system works and the colors work, it's not set up as well for that. SAP is, and SAP has a bunch of schemas, which is a word people aren't really used to using when they're talking about it, but we would say like color palettes or something available and combos, meaning they have an IA, oof, that is parallel to the needs of B2. And so what I can do is kind of take a look at how they group their schemas together and call rules together, right? To create semantic meaning. And what I'm working through right now is doing that, deciding on those structures and that naming convention, and basically getting the core UX needs for our bigger picture. I also have a goal in mind to not do this. So I mean, it's possible we might have like two types. It's not going to feel so segregated or different. It's not going to feel so freaking different, because it's not one system put on another. What I'm going to do is if I have to have, two sets of the same hue to kind of complete all of this uh, workflow for the software, what I'll do is I'll construct the colors. Actually, because this already exists, I might have to start here and basically use those existing sets to construct something comparable so they don't feel like two different sets of colors. I mean, their current one for the UI, it has a whole green undertone, and then this is just completely different. It's red undertoned and a lot more cool. Um all to say. The goal is to see if I can get those 12 hues working together. Oh, and the other thing is their brand is bright green. And they don't really have a color. They don't have a theme designed necessarily for their software, but where it gets tricky is most people or organizations are used to just, my color is green or red, it's going to be everywhere. And that gets very in UX. And the bright green is so bad on screen. It looks like reminds me of like a, like in like 2001, like those websites we used to hack together. Anyway, really, really terrible. So my goal is to actually optimize the green palette, not only for web, or excuse me, for desktop. I should actually say, we'll say web and this, because now web is meaning mobile when you're not really defining it. So web and desktop. And so it means changing the green, right? Which is now you're getting into marketing and all this shit. So it has to be clever. It has to look really cute and nice and something. Blah, blah, blah. And what I'm trying to do is see if I can not use it as the freaking call to action, which is again what people usually do, right? That's when they think of like branding and theming. So I'm going to actually pitch them. I looked at their website, which again, all this stuff looks old school, but whatever. It's what's startup it's not a startup, but enterprise and these types of companies, B2B, they're all gonna look like this. So I extracted not only their green, which is freaking everywhere on their site. So I already know it's gonna be that type of battle, or not battle, but it could be, right? I'm always looking at the what ifs and the could be's, and I'm just making strategic decisions based on that, doing the best work you possibly can, pushing that envelope, or really towing the line as much as I already know a client would let me, right? So unless I've been told like, hey, we want to rebrand, so I'm gonna rebrand them as much as I possibly can. So I don't want that to be the CTA. We can actually do accents with it instead. And what I think we should do is I already started to do this, and I think we should actually, I found a blue on their site, which is old school. And I'm like, well, what if we mix like a bluish purple and do purple as a CT, which is unexpected. It is more, you're seeing it more, but hey, let's fucking modernize you and you get you way ahead of the curve while we're doing all this other stuff. So I'm going to see if I can mix another brand palette, and then see if I can get like their main UI to like being purple call to actions. Then I will give them a gray palette that's purple undertoned that we'll use for the UI. And from there, that starts to map back to how these color schemes are already set up. And we can get, more of those sterile looking grays like up here and into the mapping and whatever. So ultimately, I don't have anything in the middle yet because I already know 12, 12, 12. Even when you go to the US, I'm terrible acronyms, US WDS, the web design system, US web design system guidelines for 508 compliance. Um, it's kind of funny because like all these major design systems, Material, SAP, Lightning, all of those. Oh yeah, I forgot to write. That's cute. So basically, oh, ADHD. So anyway, Even when you go there, 12 tones. So I already knew why I wanted 12. And then I'm going to create another token group just for their brand. Because again, we don't want to mix this idea of having green available with having green available for conveying the information we need here. First off, you don't want to mix up that context, right? So now we have the idea of like maybe success and we have brand and we have maybe like action to like go or whatever. And then you get into visualizations and then there's money and then there's yes and positive and all of that. Harry. And simultaneously, we don't need these tones everywhere. Oh my gosh, I'm getting hungry and distracted. So I should start to finish this, but I'm almost done because from here, I'm like, sweet, how many steps do we need? Right now they have 10. I think we need to adjust to either 11 or 12. I kind of like the odd numbers for steps because then it leaves you one in the middle that you can work evenly up from or evenly down, which is excellent for not only creating like consistent, just visual identity, but it does help if you want to ever do modes and stuff like that. So I don't know, but 12 is easier to find, right? Okay, so I just want to increase. I know that. We need more. So I also think that I should have some sort of like, we'll do 12 hues. And I think instead of one like we'll have 12 hues and we'll have the same types of hues. So meaning like you don't want to have like this palette having a teal green and a forest green and then this one having like a lime green and whatever else, so we'll have 12 hues and multiple palettes. Oh my gosh, I'm hungry. We'll have 12 hues with multiple palettes and those will be used for UI and your system status, right? And then we'll use a different whole fucking set for this. We'll cater it toward what exists. So actually we'll use that as like its frame of reference. And then from here we'll create multiple types of palettes. Wow. And schemas, or if you will, that A, you know, are exactly the groups that we need for over here, like with naming. And then also colorblind. So say there's like a trigger in the UI or whatever. So colorblind, safe. And then also, if possible, and usually it is, so then I might take a look at lightning and just, scan. They have 6 to 9 at least different, just cute, aesthetically pleasing combinations. And again, this is where it gets all like functional, like meaning you have to like write a function to call on them and whatever. So I might just like take a quick look and throw together just, you know, um a few just pretty palettes. But I also have this thought in my head around basically theming in dark mode isn't necessarily needed, but there are just different color combination applications. I can't, I'm starting not be able to think. I'm fucking hungry. But instead of doing anything pretty, I probably do both. So a few pretty palettes and then just maybe at least two plus modes, like with a dark app bar and a lighter one, or whatever. So from there, I took a look at the Blazor component library, which like I said, is in C sharp. And I'm really glad I got misinformed. Well, not misinformed in the beginning, just some information was everywhere. So anyway, I was thinking it was originally React. So that's C sharp. Blah, blah, because I was like, oh, maybe I can just toss this on the web, but I know how to read C sharp. I think I what did a 2-month tutorial in it. So anyway, the Blazor UI kit, I downloaded it from Figma and hey, or for Figma, and there are variables available, but they needed to be sorted and fixed. Oh my God. So I fixed and sorted, and now I've preserved that UI kit for implementation. Testing. So now I've extracted all of the CSS classes for components for that theme, right? That goes all the way back here for the Bootstrap 5 laser Bootstrap 5 theme. Great. And I've organized them. So that whole thing is preserved now. And now I am making sure that I've set up those variables. By fixed and sorted, I mean like they're just a pile. And I've actually made the nesting structure. So, first off, if we need to make it dynamic or export them or whatever, they'll actually work. When you download the kit, even if you were to try to export the tokens out of them, like without knowing enough, you would accidentally fuck up the theming right there because just the way they're set up, the naming wouldn't be right. Just because of the way the structure is set up, it just would produce a wrong result. So anyway, I can tell that this isn't set up for dynamic systems quite yet. Oh my God. Okay, I need to finish. All right, so I've got the UI kit and that's ready for implementation now. I have fixed and sorted those tokens. And right now, I'm finishing. So, and I'm actually creating doc around it. So I'm simultaneously designing the real component tokens. Well, the real I'm actually so here I was saying I was working through everything. I'm simultaneously designing the real tokens while designing the documentation. So I'm actually just putting it all together as I figure it out. And I've made little components I can just like adjust later to make it pretty. Um, and originally I wanted to do the doc in Notion, but that was going to be too much work for me. And so I decided I'd do it in Figma because you can paste into FigJam and then export the CSV information and stuff if you need. So anyway, I'm designing the real tokens according to the UI kit. And what that's going to do is give me information about, so there's these tokens called chart series. And that is going to give me information about exactly how the chart series, like, I already know for the most part how it works at this point. So that gives me the chart series tokens. And I think it has 14. You can add more if I want, I think. I'll have to double check. Then, so, ooh, 14, because I can have up to 14 freaking different tones in there. And from there, I can create. So I just have single tokens, but I'll just make sets. And from there, I'll create sets of chart series tokens that take care of boop a doop a doo, wherever it was, our visualization for the semantics needs, and for like regular generic qualitative data. And then also, well, actually, there's different types of semantic needs. So, semantic meaning like generic semantics. Well, we can now refer to those as contextual. Doesn't matter. They're contextual schemas. So, we'll say the contextual schemas that in B2Wise are called immutable. And that should solve for all of those tokens. That gives me token hues I get to work with. I know how Bootstrap needs to take in the final token, so they would need to pump into the chart series. So now I have the ability to have 1 through 14 hues. I can create however many steps that I need and basically just create whatever schematic palettes that I need to have, those 12 that he listed, and then whatever I design for colorblind and blah blah blah. And then from there, that's the easier thing to test with implementation than typography in a jillion ways. So anyway, from there, what I'll do is I will design this and test it while I'm working on it by implementing, and I can see it live, make sure I know how everything works, and talking to the dev hopefully next week sometime. But in the meantime, I can still like branch this or whatever if I need to. Once I understand how it works, or I mean, once I get the colors working and I know I'm all good, because I have to connect now like 4 different types of variable collections at least. What that will do, I was about to say something. It's going to inform me on type because, yeah, I have to go back now and finalize type. I am too tired. Okay, this is good. This is good, no one. Thank you, no one. You know, what's funny is while I took my little break, is I was like, oh, maybe I'll just sit here on the camera and work the music. And I immediately felt myself becoming less like 2 minutes. I was like, no, it's the mood. I did this for a reason. So anyway, yeah, it's 2025, and maybe in the next, if this lives on YouTube, if YouTube exists in 30 years, maybe one person will ever watch this, or maybe it'll just be me. But this is for me to brainstorm out loud and feel like I'm working with someone who actually works well. My introvert self is like secretly excited, not excited. I was like, oh, good, there's no one here. But, you know, oh, there was one person right when I fucked up when I started. And I'm like, oh no, it would have been fun if someone was here. So maybe I'm gonna stop being so introverted and actually like talking to people if anyone ever wants to be my friend and design with me, designing with no one. But yeah, cool. This was my Blazor token system design process. And hell yeah, this sped me up. So thanks, me. Now it's gonna take me freaking 10 minutes to figure out how to turn off the live. Okay, and stream. Stream will stop immediately and you will no longer be live. That sounds good.